I'm so happy you're here. I'm such a big fan of yours, but I don't know what to call you. Do I call you Guillermo or do I call you Dr. Del Toro? You got your doctorate.
That is my...
Look at that. Wow.
Yes, indeed.
Now, where was this? Who gave this to you?
This is the best, the largest, the most famous university in Latin America, National University of Mexico.
Wow.
And you can only write prescriptions if you have the hat.
You have to wear the hat? Yeah.
You have to wear the hat.
You have to wear the hat.
Yes.
I'm so happy that you're here. Did your parents want you to be a doctor growing up, or were they happy that you went into the movies?
They were happy for us to have a pulse. They were just like, oh, the kids are okay, they're breathing.
Okay, so they were all right, yeah.
Yeah, they were.
When did you know that, like, when I read somewhere you were like 8 years old, you grabbed your dad's camera?
Yeah, my dad used to sell cars, had a car dealership, and they would pay him with stuff, like down payments.
Yeah.
And they gave him a Super 8 camera, a projector, and a screen. And I started doing Super 8 movies with that.
And what do you remember any of your movies you used to make?
Well, early on, I did a stop-motion clay animation about a serial killer potato. It became sentient, murdered the whole family, decided to conquer the world.
Why did the potato kill the family?
It was a really hubris. The potato wanted to conquer the world and stepped out into the street and got crushed by a car. That was
mashed potato?
It was,
at the end?
Mashed potato.
That's wild. So
it ended in violence.
Yeah, it ended in violence, yeah. Can we talk about Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio?
Yes, please.
What a masterpiece. It's a triumph.
Thank you.
Man, oh man. This movie. Wait do you see, and I want to know when you got the idea that you want to do your version of Pinocchio and that you wanted to make it stop motion animation.
Well, stop motion, I've been doing it since I was a kid, as I said, and the thing is, I felt that for the puppet to belong to the same world, everybody had to be a puppet. And it's a story about, it's set during the rise of Mussolini, and it's the only character that doesn't behave like a puppet is the puppet. He's very a free thinker. And we started the adventure with a Shadow Machine and my co-director, Mark Gustafson, and this is a titanic piece of animation.
Yeah.
Gigantic.
I love the story. Did you fall in love with it from the Disney cartoon?
Yeah, I saw it with my mom. It was the second or third movie I saw with my mom, and I felt that was the only movie at that age that captured how horrible childhood felt. And I was enchanted by that. I said, that guy gets me.
Wow.
And then I said, my mom and I were very, very good friends growing up. She was the weird one in the family, along with me.
Yeah.
She would have worn that sweater, by the way.
She would, yeah. That's a pretty good, right?
She would have rocked it, yeah, every Christmas.
Your mom had a lot to do with this movie getting made.
Yeah, we talked about it. She would give me a Pinocchio every couple of years, a wooden Pinocchio. She knew that I wanted to do it since I was very young. And, you know, unfortunately, she passed away right before the movie premiered in the London Film Festival. But I still feel her in there. You know,
yeah. I think she'd be very proud.
She would be happy.
She'd be very proud.
She would
be. You brought us the star of the movie.
Yeah, two actors came with me.
Two actors come with you. This is, I don't want to.
These are the real puppets. You can animate them, you know. This is Geppetto, and this is they're mechanical puppet. So all the mechanisms are in the face. They are made of silicone, and inside there's basically like a Swiss watch of mechanics.
Wow.
So you can animate them frame by frame. You know, look, for example, if you want him to be sad, and if he's worried about Pinocchio now. If you want him to be angry, you know, he would get angry. He's a pretty obedient guy. There you go. He's telling Pinocchio, what are you doing?
How long does this take? Because when I'm watching it, I forgot there were stop motion puppets at one point.
That's the idea. The idea is for them to become actors. And each of these is more expensive than a Hyundai. And so they are really mechanically
I'm
fine.
not touching you.
No, and no, you should grab Pinocchio. And these guys, basically what we decided to do is act in a naturalistic way, not like a cartoon, not hyper. So you can make them make mistakes. When you work with live actors, you expect to create something that feels alive. But with a stop motion puppet, you have to animate mistakes. So when we see a little footage that I bought, you will see them do failed acts, stumbling, kicking a bottle that is laying around, sort of stumbling around, and all of that is pre-planned to be animated like that.
That's like next level stuff. You're like, wow, you're making the puppets make mistakes to be more human.
Yeah, there is a thing, Hayao Miyazaki, the animator in Japan, said, if you animate the ordinary, it will be extraordinary. And the whole movie goes down. We believe, everybody that made this movie believes that animation is not a genre just for kids. Animation is art. Animation is film.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make you see these guys and say, they're actors. Forget that they're puppets.
Yeah, I read one write-up of this because I was so excited to have you on the show. Even before, just looking at a trailer, and they said it's your dark take on Pinocchio. Do you believe that it's a dark take?
I think the opposite. I find it incredibly beautiful and moving. When you see it, you will call your kids or your parents.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly emotional, full of light, but it does have the beauty. When I saw the first Pinocchio with Disney, Disney understood one thing, that in order to appreciate the light, you needed darkness. And so there is a contrasting thing in this movie where you will be moved. And I find myself, after all these months of work, still tearing up, watching the movie over and over.
It made me cry as well, but in cheer. But you just fall in love with it. But the whole idea of being a boy and living your life.
Yes.
There's a poem that you got quoted in.
Yes, there is a poem. It's very Mexican, but it's about the relationship of life and death. Jaime Sabines said, all of my life a voice has whispered softly in my ear, live, live, live. It was death. And the idea on Pinocchio is, can we love each other while we're briefly in this world? Can we belong to each other? Can we support each other? No matter what you are or what you look like, and that's it. The one that learns to listen in this Pinocchio is this guy. Geppetto learns to be a real father, as opposed to Pinocchio learning to be a real boy.
I want to show everyone a clip. Get ready for this. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Take a look. Hey, wow. You just see that. That was a puppet. That's amazing. Good job. Good job, Guillermo del Toro, everybody. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is in select theaters now and begins streaming on Netflix this Friday. We'll be right back with a performance from Ashley McBryde and John Osborne. Stick around.